Welcome to this screencast about the technology tool Slow Reveal Graphs. This is an instructional routine that's designed to promote sense making about data. Basically, the premise here is that a teacher presents a graph that has no context, it's been stripped of its context, and then students engage in rich students engage in rich mathematical discourse as the teacher slowly reveals more and more information about that particular graph. Everything that you need for a lesson on a graph is present within the tools on slowrevealgraphs.com. So let's take a quick look. On the home page, you'll get some basic information about graphs, including a place to view all graphs. In the What is a Slow Reveal Graph drop down, you can find some introductory information, including blog posts, professional learning, etc., that you can read to learn more about slow reveal graphs. And then I highly recommend that you start here in the watch section and watch this 3-minute introduction video. This video very quickly introduces the idea and gives a quick demonstration of how to use a slow reveal graph in your classroom. There are a huge number of graphs available on this particular website. So you can go to classroom resources and see graphs that are specifically designed for the elementary classroom, bar graphs, line graphs, scatter plots, and then also graphs that are context specific. So graphs about social justice or climate change, sustainable development, etc. You also can access these graphs via the tags over here on the side. So just select double bar graph, and you can see just hovering over double bar graph that there are 13 double bar graphs available on the website. So let's take a quick look at a graph for the elementary classroom. Notice lots of different topics, including song length, volcanoes, states Americans have visited. We're going to take a look at this particular graph, most popular pets in the US. When I select most popular pets in the US, I'll find some information about this particular data set, where it comes from. The data set is actually from a 2025 article that was in Forbes. We've got some potential math content that is appropriate to discuss or to meet objectives for things like bar graphs, millions, large numbers, estimating, comparing, multiplicative comparison, etc. Again, this is a bar graph, so you get the type, and then you get a link to the slide deck. The slide deck opens in Google Slides, and you'll notice that you have, in this case, 6 different slides that gradually add context to this particular graph. You also will notice that you have questions that are recommended for mathematical discourse as you move through contextualizing the information here. So beginning with a very simple, what do you notice? What do you wonder? This will encourage students to slow down their thinking and consider, what might this graph be about? What do they know about the different bars? They might notice, for example, that one is very much taller than the last one, and that we have a lot that have similar values here in the middle. They might wonder what this graph is about, what could create this kind of disparity in values, what the intervals might be, lots of different things like that. And then as you go through, you start adding the context. So we get the intervals on the y-axis here. Each time you go to a new slide, you're going to get this question: what new information did we just learn? With the hopes that students begin to become critical consumers of information and really notice pieces of information. There are some mathematical questions, such as, what do you think the value of the tall bar is, the red bar? how you might estimate those. So good mathematical content discussion questions that can happen there. Some more context. How does this context change your thinking about the graph? And then we get a title. So in this slide, we get the title. So now students know that this graph is about the most popular pets in the US. And so they think about the labels for the different colored bars. So this is a prediction exercise. What do you predict is going to be the largest number, the most pets in US households versus the least? And what could these be here in the middle? Then we get a little bit more context with the actual value. We get the x-axis label and then what each bar stands for. And again, some mathematical questions such as about how many times as many people own dogs as freshwater fish. And so then you get to the end with our actual values for each bar and some potential mathematical questions and activities that can be completed with this slow reveal graph. I think this is a great activity and a great technology source to allow students to construct meaning and to pay close attention to pieces of information. It also can really help with media literacy with a large number of graphs that are available. Some of these graphs ask questions like, how did this data come to be? So for example, on this slide, we get questions, maybe it's this slide. So for example, on this slide, we get some questions like who's included, who isn't? If a family owns 3 dogs, how do you think they are recorded? So an important question for students to start thinking as far as media literacy and understanding that statistics can be manipulated to a degree depending on how the information is recorded. So lots of rich opportunities here for discussions and meaning making. Please let me know if you have any questions.